Hello, I'm Aaron Pabone, and this is Game Journalism Network with a special live stream regarding the cancellation of Airplay 2. Now, this is sad news for us as well as everyone else who's been involved with the planning of Airplay 2, including our donors, which we do wish to issue a apology about the cancellation of this event. Many people have been asking, why was this event canceled? A lot of people were making quick assumptions and jumping the gun, saying it was for harassment, or some people saying that we scammed them. To be true, we have not scammed you, and this is not because of any harassment. And some of you are probably saying to yourselves, how can we trust you didn't scam us? There is no way to prove that, unfortunately. This is something that we are saying as the truth, that we did not scam you, and there is nothing else we can say or do about it except explain the situation that's happened. A couple of months ago, specifically in January, we did have a venue. That venue was in a public library, not in the Hillsborough County system, which is where Tampa, Florida is located. It was in a completely different county altogether, but nearby Hillsborough County. It was there where we had the venue scheduled for a Sunday event. We had no contract signed, but we did have a time slot and date slot under our name ready to go. When we were in the final stages of approving contracts and signing off a contract, which also included the use of security with the local sheriff's department, and to make sure that this was a secure, viable event, we were told at the last minute that there was a new policy change that Sunday events could not be planned at libraries unless we were employees of the library system. And there was nothing else we can do about it. This is something that we found out, unfortunately, late last month. I do not have the exact day of when we found out about that. But immediately afterwards, we've been looking for another venue. We did have a Plan B venue. Unfortunately, at the last minute, we had to cancel there as well because they did not have adequate internet that we could use for a live stream, and the place was compromised. We were afraid that that place, that location, would have threats sent in, which would cause the event to be canceled as well. Many people have been saying, well, could we do this in a hotel ballroom? Could we do this in a store? Could we do this in some kind of a location like that? Could we do it in a recreation center? Well, we've been looking at every possible location we could in Tampa, Florida. Unfortunately, with this short amount of time, we have been able to find a suitable location that meets certain requirements. That was in a professional setting that could be easily secured for security, that would have proper internet so we can live stream the event itself, and also a place that we could have that would be open to the public. Some people have suggested, why don't we do it in a hotel room? Why don't we do it in my living room or my garage? Or why don't we do it in someone else's hotel room or a public park? Again, the issues were security, locations being compromised, being in a professional setting, and proper internet coverage so we can live stream this event. We have been trying everything we can to find a proper venue, and we felt it was in our best interest not to have the location that was not proper for what we were trying to do. We were trying to host a live debate, a live professional journalism debate, and none of those venues that we looked at were in the proper setting to do that. We did not want to do this as a live stream online because, again, we wanted this as a live professional event. And we're sorry if we couldn't find one in time. Unfortunately, this was short notice, and we did everything in our power to look for a new event. We are doing everything we can to issue refunds. We have been actively contacting GoFundMe, and they've been reaching back to us and giving us everything we could, every information we could about issuing refunds. GoFundMe has made it very clear that not everyone would be able to get a refund because we have already cashed checks that were sent to us very early in the campaign. Early in the campaign, they did send us small amounts of money, which we did cash, which we did use to purchase airfare tickets and to put down for equipment that we did need. Notice I did not mention the location at all. The reason for that was because both locations we were looking at, we were going to get for free. We had no money invested in any location whatsoever. We were trying to cut as many costs as possible so we could have the most high quality event that we could put together, which included getting better equipment, getting more speakers in. Now, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. We did use the money to purchase airplane tickets that unfortunately we cannot get a refund for, nor can we move the dates of their travel because we did not purchase airfare insurance. It was something that never came across our minds, and it was something that we unfortunately did not do. We were trying to save as much money as possible. I do apologize if I do cough halfway through. I am recovering from an allergy attack. Again, also the equipment that we did purchase, we cannot get a refund for because we purchased most of the equipment in January. We're way past the expiration date to return that equipment, and some of the equipment was used. We tried to get the best deal possible. In some cases, the equipment that we did buy was actually cheaper than renting. Now, we are doing everything we can to issue refunds. The last check that was incoming to us, which unfortunately would have been 5 days after Airplay 2, which we needed to use those funds to purchase security and to secure the location when he would not come in time, we asked GoFundMe to cancel that check. That check is going to be used to refund as many people as possible. We are also in contact with GoFundMe to see who is getting a refund. This way, anyone who did not get a refund, we will contact them personally and do everything in our power to issue a refund. Now, because some of these donors are anonymous, I have no way of getting in contact with them. And I am talking with GoFundMe to see what we can do about trying to get a refund to those anonymous donors. But again, this is according to GoFundMe. Not every donor will get a refund, and I do apologize for that. There is nothing I can do about that. Being as transparent as possible with it, and some people have asked for me to post receipts, and I said I would. I will be posting receipts later on this week. Scratch that. I will be posting receipts tomorrow on the Game Journalism Network website on the Airplay 2 page. Some of you have questions. Some of you have already sent questions to through Twitter and are live on the stream, and I will answer them as much as possible. Some people are saying that GoFundMe shows you the emails and names. Yes, that is true. Unfortunately, many of those emails are actually throwaway accounts, and some were actually stated as anonymous, or some was stated as John Doe. I don't know who they are. There are actually some people who did that. We are actually going to sell and we are going to try to sell the equipment as soon as possible. None of the equipment's been used except for testing purposes. We have not used the equipment for any other means or resources. We are going to try to sell the equipment so we can use that to give a refund. Some of you are asking about certain panelists and their involvement with this. I can assure you that every panelist who was involved in Airplay 2 was only involved as a panelist. They were in no way related to any of the planning involved in Airplay 2. Some people are concerned if they're still going to be using those plane tickets. I am going to be canceling the plane tickets as soon as possible. If you have any other questions, you can ask me through the Twitter account, Game Journal Net, or you can ask me through the live stream of this live stream. You can ask me through the chat on the side. My experience in planning events is I actually do have a lot of experience planning events. I'll be honest, I've never planned a journalism event like this, but I have worked behind the scenes at some journalism events. Most of my planning experience actually comes from planning pop culture conventions, comic book conventions, anime conventions, video gaming conventions and events, and things of that nature. And I've been doing that for about 7 years all over the state of Florida. And I've even consulted with many conventions in Florida in helping them develop their events. Many of them very successful. I'm not going to name any names about that because I don't want to have any retaliation on them due to the sensitivity of this topic. Again, for people asking me to refund or return the money, I am doing everything I can to do that. I am talking to GoFundMe to do that, and I am going to try to reach out to as many funders as possible to issue a refund. I have been asking for people to find a venue for me in Tampa, Florida for the 17th. Some people have been looking for me, and I do appreciate for those people who have been reaching out and looking. And unfortunately, with this time frame, it's probably going to be very difficult to look for another venue. If we are able to find a venue between now and the 5th, we will heavily reconsider having Airplay 2. Unfortunately, due to the time constraints and everything that's been going on at this time, I cannot say. We have no immediate plans to have an Airplay event in the immediate future. Again, we are not going to be doing this as a live stream. We have no intention of doing this as, I'm sorry, we did intend on doing this as a live stream, as a live event with people in person. We have no intention of doing this as a Google Hangout because we wanted this event, like the first Airplay, to be a live debate where people can sit in person, watch in person, and be there in person, and we can ask these people in person these questions, all about the ethical standards in gaming journalism, the controversy itself, every side as much as possible. That was the purpose of having this as a live event. By doing it as an online live stream, this not only diminishes the credibility of the Gamergate controversy or us discussing any ethical standards, but at the same time, this diminishes the possibility of it looking like a professional event. The goal of Airplay was to have a live event, not a live stream on Google Hangouts, which is why we are not going to be doing a live stream at all at this present time. Again, we are doing everything we can to sell the equipment so we can refund people their money. We have no extra money at this present time. We are still trying to do everything we can to refund as many people as possible. We have been reaching out to GoFundMe. We have been actively communicating with GoFundMe as much as possible so we can do this. I can't give you any numbers at this very moment. I don't have them written down in front of me. Again, we will be posting receipts very soon. Yes, I'm aware there are a lot of people in the chat posting things, and there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. John Smith is he quit. He decided to leave the planning for Airplay 2. It was a shock to me. I had unfortunately only found out through Twitter, and for his reason for quitting, you can look at his twit longer on his Twitter page. Tech Raptor unfortunately was not able to attend due to work-related conflicts and family conflicts. That's all it was. That's all. That was the only reason that they gave me, and yeah, that was the only reason why they were able to quit. If you have any other viable questions or any questions that pertain to Airplay 2, I will answer them in the chat. As I mentioned before, we were looking for a venue. At this present time, we are not looking for a venue. Some people have said they found venues, and if they have found venues that are willing to accommodate this, you can email us at gamejournalismnetwork@gmail.com, and we will put into heavy consideration the planning of using that venue for Airplay. Again, it does have to meet certain standards that we asked for: adequate internet coverage, a professional location, a secure location that we can use security so we can secure the event to make sure that the event is not shut down in any way, shape, or form. If it meets those requirements, and if it's something that we can afford with the funding that we did receive from GoFundMe, we will use that location. If you have found one, we do urge that you do email us at gamejournalismnetwork@gmail.com, and we will do everything we can between now and the 5th. But we do not have any plans to continue Airplay 2 at this present time, but we will put it into heavy consideration. The original venue was a library not in Hillsborough County. I will not I will not name the locations that I've talked to previously, because my job as a journalist is to minimize harm, and I will not name the name of a location where people, as you can see on this live stream, could harass or intimidate that location, and I will not condone that, and because of that, I will not name that location at this present time. But one was a library that was not in Hillsborough County, and one was a hotel that was also not in Hillsborough County. I did not take any money. I do not have any of that money. The money that we did receive, we used to purchase equipment, which we are going to return so we can give refunds. And we bought airline tickets that unfortunately we cannot get a refund on. I have no money at all left from the funds that were previously given. We did have an incoming check that was coming from GoFundMe that we did cancel. We did shut down the GoFundMe page. We unfortunately shut it down too late when some people did donate some more money, but it was before we even considered canceling Airplay 2. Any more people who donated to GoFundMe, we hope more people could have donated so we can have a better quality event. We had no control of when the checks were coming in, and we had no idea that the checks were coming in on the 22nd. And we will provide proof and receipts online on the website in the coming days. The SPJ was not involved in the planning of this event. We did talk to members of the SPJ, specifically Lynn Walsh, about returning to this Airplay, and unfortunately, during the month of April, they do have a massive conference, a series of conferences that the SPJ holds that many members of the SPJ could not attend. The SPJ was in no way involved in the planning of this event. Michael Koretsky was also not involved in the planning of this event. He did give me his blessing to use the Airplay name to use this event. He did offer assistance initially, but he has not offered any assistance, nor has he helped out at all during this time. So the SPJ was not involved in this. We did reach out to members of the SPJ. We wanted members of the SPJ to be in attendance, but none were available. We did not want to reveal the location ahead of time. Even this early, we were not going to reveal the location because we did not want any we did not want any early harassment or anything like that to happen to that venue ahead of time. We were planning on releasing the venue's location actually on April 9th, had we still had the venue. But we're still not going to reveal the location because of the situation we're in now. And as you can see with the side chat, if you are watching the live Google chat through YouTube, we do not want to cause any harm to that venue. We never signed any contracts. We were about to sign contracts, but we were told from higher ups that I could not plan an event with that library system because I was not a member of the I was not a worker with the library system, and only workers within that library system were able to plan events. We did have someone who was helping us out plan the event, but unfortunately they could not help us out in any way, shape, or form. And unfortunately, that location at the last minute had to cancel where we had. We did have a time slot locked off for us. Our name was in the system. We were ready to go. We were about to sign contracts, which also include security, which is why we held off on signing any contracts until we had a proper security channel set up for us. That is when the event was canceled. I'm sorry, that was when the location canceled our event from being there. We have no signed contracts, and I can't show you any signed contracts, unfortunately. Yes, we could hire a room. Unfortunately, many of the locations here in Tampa, Florida, are pretty expensive at this present time, and they do need to meet certain requirements that we've asked for before. Proper internet connection so we can do a proper live stream, enough room to hold both the panelists and members of the public if they wanted to attend, including journalists that we did want to invite, both local and gaming journalists if they did choose to attend. We also needed it to be adequate for security, so we can have a secure location free of any threats. Again, we are trying to sell the equipment. We are considering using online options, and we're doing what we can to sell the equipment. Originally, we were talking to a library, and we were talking to the library in Hillsborough County as well. Unfortunately, when we asked, no venue was available within the Hillsborough County library system. No, none of the venues received any funds from GoFundMe, nor did I pay or put down any money to any of these venues. I have held, I would say, man, 12 pop culture events here in Florida I have helped organize. And I've worked behind the scenes at various events over the years. Um, I honestly cannot give you a number, but I have been helping out and helping planning many events in Florida since 2009. We did have a venue. Well, we thought we had a venue. We had great confidence that we had two venues in case one should shut down, we would have another venue. We had no idea that both venues would back out on us at the last minute. We did everything we could. We cannot refund the airplane tickets, unfortunately. We did not purchase we did not purchase ticket insurance, and unfortunately, we cannot get a refund from the tickets. um, the equipment we did purchase was 2 video cameras with HDMI capabilities and microphone input capabilities, which was going to give us better audio quality when it came to recording the events and having it live streamed, and so we can properly input them through video capture cards. We did purchase 1 video capture card. We have not. That's all. That's actually all the equipment we purchased. Much of the other equipment that we were going to use was either going to be borrowed or loaned to us. The equipment that we did purchase is sitting in my office, untouched. It's in a box that says Airplay 2 that was going to be used for Airplay 2. It hasn't been used for anything else. The only thing we've done with them was to open them, test them, make sure they work, since we were afraid that one of the ones that we bought was a floor model. It could be defective or it could have some issues or glitches. But yeah, we have the equipment. It's sitting in my personal office. I am talking to my EP, my executive producer, to see what we can do about selling this equipment, either online or in person. We're looking through channels to do what we can to try to get funds back from the equipment that we did purchase so we can issue a refund. I understand many of you do not believe me. This is the only proof I can give. And many of you are right. My credibility right now is broken. I can only say what I'm saying now in this live stream. This was not an attempt to scam anybody. This was an attempt to hold a live professional journalism event. That's all this was. Our job was to talk about the issues with the Gamergate controversy. Game Journalism Network started as an attempt to report on the Gamergate controversy in the most neutral stance possible. Slowly, we've been doing everything we can to move away from that so we can cover gaming journalism in general, while still covering Gamergate. Airplay 2 was going to be an event that we hope to answer questions that were not asked at the first Airplay, like the Game Journalist Pro List, or current issues that are going on within the Gamergate controversy, like harassment, or issues with censorship, or issues with localizations in games, or the still sloppy reporting that's happening across the board, and current issues going on, for example, with Gawker Media. We were doing everything we can so we can talk about the ethical standards, not just in video gaming journalism, but hopefully also segue into real journalism as well, in an attempt to show everyone out there what needed to be done. This was our attempt to hold a live journalism conference and show the world exactly how journalism is supposed to be conducted and the dangers of it if it's unchecked, or for people who don't understand the ethical standards or ramifications that are involved. That was our only goal. That was my only goal in this entire situation. And yes, you are right. Many of you are right. My credibility right now is ruined. The only thing I can do at this present time is do everything I can to issue refunds to as many people as possible. I am attempting to reach out to those people. GoFundMe is reaching out to those people. GoFundMe is using the funds that were funded that have not been cashed as an attempt to refund that money. We have no plans for doing an Airplay in the immediate future. The equipment will be sold, and those funds will be used to issue a refund. That's all I can say on that. You can take what I say at face value or not. Many of you are still going to have some choice words for me. Many of you are actively going to attempt to harass me. And I'm not going to play the victim card in that. I'm not saying I deserve it. But depending on how I react and you react in this situation, will prove a couple of things. My job as a journalist, my job is to minimize harm and report on the truth without fear or favor. And your job as the consumer is to keep me in check. Many of you are concerned about the funds and how they were being used. Many of you were concerned about where the funds were going, and you have every right to be concerned. I'm answering the questions as I can. And if I am sounding deliberately vague, it's because I do not want harm to happen to other people who are associated with the planning of this event. The venues that were attempting to help out that unfortunately had to cancel at the last minute, and that was beyond their control as well. Some of the people who were involved, this came from higher ups. I'm not going to put them in any danger or any unnecessary harassment or any unnecessary targets. As of this moment, there is no Airplay 2. If certain things happen within the next couple of days, we will heavily consider it. Game Journalism Network will be going on a brief hiatus, so we can worry about giving these refunds. We will return, and we did all learn something from this. I learned something from this. And if there's anything I've always been told, and I believe in, is the fact that adults should hold themselves accountable for their actions. Yes, I was in charge of planning this event. I had the final decision on making sure this event went through or not. I made the decision to cancel this event because we did not have an adequate venue. This event would have not been the perfect representation of what Airplay 2 should have been. Many people will attempt to have events like this in the future. And if they do, I wish them the best of luck in finding the proper venue and making a professional environment and showing the world what people need to know about the ethical standards in journalism. And I wish you the best of luck. I will be taking no further questions. Again, I'm Aaron Pabon with Game Journalism Network. Have a good evening.